Hello and welcome. I'm Alan Carter, and today I'm going to show you how to reveal the trend in historical performance data by calculating a 30-day moving average. So we're going to be creating a custom Business Objects Webby report. So let's start a blank report. We're going to point to the reporting universe for SOM OBR for the 3PAR performance data, which is the 3PAR performance universe. Click OK. Then for the query, I want to have storage system performance metrics at the storage level, and I'm going to collect the SOM instance name, the tenant name, the storage system name, and because we're collecting performance metrics over a period of time, I want the full date. And for the performance metrics, we're going to be using daily performance metrics because we want long-term performance metrics. And for this instance, I'm just going to use the average total data rate, which is in bytes per second. So that's the query. I'm not going to do any filter on anything, so it's going to get all the data that's been collected over all the time for all the 3PAR storage systems. So let's run the query. And we've got a report already. So I don't really want the table, but just so that you can see the data that the queries come back with, I will highlight all the columns, right click, format cell, and for alignment, for cell alignment, adjust the width to the content. Click OK, and we can see as we go down we've got some storage systems here with the date and different performance metrics, and if I go to the end we can see the storage system changes over time, so there's multiple storage systems in there. What I'm actually going to do is, if I go back to the beginning of the report, I'm going to delete this table because we want it in a graph rather than a table. So let's delete it. Then in the report itself, I'm going to insert some sections. So I'm going to create a section based on the storage system name. And you can see there's 3 storage systems. And if I highlight the sections, we can drag them out a bit. And what I'm going to do is change the colour of the paper in the section. Just do it to an off-white rather than it being white. Let's drag that for the title, and then we're going to insert a line graph. Let's put it in there. The other thing that I should do before I carry on is I just want to change the setup. If I go to page setup and display, I'm going to change from quick display mode to page mode, and rather than A4 I'm going to pick A3 and scroll down a bit. I'm going to just drag this out a little bit to maybe about that sort of size. And then we're going to assign some values. So the data that we're going to assign to it, for the category access, let's pick the day, and for the value access, we could pick the average data rate. Let's apply those changes. Click OK, and we can see what we're coming up with to begin with. I'm going to make some formatting change to make more of the graph and less of the stuff here. So I'm just going to format the chart, and for the category access, I'm going to remove the title, so where it says full day, so that's not visible. Apply that, and then maybe for the legend, I'm going to just move its position to the bottom, and the other thing is I'm going to remove the title of the legend. So it's not visible. So some things to notice, there's lots of zeros, and this one hasn't got much data rate, this storage system. And as we go down, we can see the next one, loads of zeros. So what I'm going to do, rather than show that in bytes per second, I'm going to show that in gigabytes per second. So in order to do that, let's go to data access, create a new variable, and it needs to be a measure rather than a dimension. And I'm going to say that it's equal to the average total data rate divided by 1024 divided by 1024, and I'm going to give it the name of average total data rate, open brackets, gigabytes per sec. And then what we can do is assign the data, and rather than use average, we'll go to the newly created variable, click apply, and we can see we've got it in gigabits per second. The other thing that I like to change is the date format, just a personal preference. So we'll do that, and where we assign the data, where we click this down arrow at the side of the date and format number, and I'm going to pick a date format like that. Click OK, click OK, and we've got a different date format. The other thing that I could do maybe is right click, format chart plot area, and I'm going to go back to the title, and I'm going to give it the name, maybe with a function. So I could do the storage system name, which is a variable, plus then inverted commas, and I'll do a space, no, do inverted commas, colon, space, data rate. Click OK. I'm going to change it and put it in the center, and change the font size to 11. Click OK. Oh, where's that gone? Title. No, I haven't. Forgot to make it visible. Click apply. OK. There we go. So the title is storage name and data rate. Average total data rate. So that's pretty good. Now what we're going to do is create some more variables so we can calculate a 30-day moving average. So to begin with, select measure. And we're going to call this measure moving AV for average int for intermediate point, and it equals and rather than typing it all, I'm typing previous, it finds it, so do previous self, and I'm going to do minus previous, and then in the equation I'm going to do the data point that I've selected, and we're going back 30 data points, and I also need to divide by 30, and 30 divided by 30, then plus the measure divide by 30. So that is roughly speaking a 30-day moving average. So then I could add this to the graph by assigning data, adding a new entry, and selecting the moving average variable that I've just created. Apply that. We can say the 30-day moving average. Now the thing to note is the first bit here to there isn't correct because there isn't 30 previous points to calculate it from, so that value is incorrect. So really we want to not display that. So there's a trick to be able to do that. So what I'm going to do is create another measure, and I'm going to call it running total, and I'm going to make that equal to running count, which will count the number of rows for the data. And the one bit that I always forget is I need to get it to reset that count every time we change the metric based on the storage system name. So every time we start a new section, the count will start again. Then if I click OK, incorrect context, running count, I know what to do here. If I just put some extra brackets in, there we go. New variable, and all I do here then is create a new measure, and this measure is going to be called moving average, and all we have to do then is say if the running total is greater than 29, that means it's going to equal 30, then all we do is take the moving average value, and if it's below 30 we don't. Oh, wrong place. Do that, click OK. So if I add this equation, you should just see the line from there to there, and that bit from there to there shouldn't exist. So if I assign the data, add add a new value, and we'll do the moving average. Click apply. Okay. You can see it just starts from there and finishes there. So we don't really need this intermediate point. So what I'll do is go back, assign data, and remove that one, apply, and there we go. We've got our real data points and our moving average. So the only things to do now is to tidy it up a bit. So what I do is I'm going to change the title here and format that and just make it something short. So I'm going to do a custom title. Nope. Yep. And I'm going to call it gig e-bits per sec. And the key there will tell you what's what, moving average and average total data rate. Gigabytes, not bits, sorry. So the only other thing to do maybe is to change the colours. So I'm more interested in the trend line and less interested in the actual values in this instance. So what I can do is change the palette to make the actuals go into the background and make the trend line pop out. So if we're going to global, select the palette and style, I'm going to go into here, customize it, and with the existing one, let's edit it. Oh. Click OK. Oh. Default, custom, new. Right. So if I'm back down the amount of colour, we can see that it's faded right down. So if I do 15, and then this green here, I'm gonna, well, let's leave it. Rather than it be green, I'm gonna change it to an orangish colour. Okay. Okay. Oh, have I not done it? No, that's okay. 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 And there we have it. The only thing left to do really is maybe to save our report. So I'm going to do a save as, and I'm going to call it 3